Hi everyone! In this video we're going to see the new version of YITH WooCommerce EU VAT, OSS and IOSS, a tool to manage sales to countries in the European Union. With this plugin you can charge the correct VAT and also apply VAT exemption to orders placed by businesses that have a valid VAT number. You can also enable the IOSS module if you're selling physical goods from a country that's outside the European Union to comply with tax regulations. Before we get into it, let me remind you that with these settings to the plugin, documentation, and live demo with access to the admin dashboard below in the first comment or in the description. And now, let's get to it.
Okay, so let's go to YITH EU VAT. Here we have this redesign panel with all these tabs: settings, tags, modules, your store tools, help, and the option to collapse the menu. For this video, we have this store that's based in Spain. So it's a store within the European Union that sells to countries that are also within the European Union. But you can also use the plugin if you have a store that's outside, for example in the US or in Brazil, and you sell worldwide. And you can use the plugin to manage taxes when exporting your products from your location into a country that's within the European Union. In the first tab, Settings, we can configure the general options to define the plugin behavior. We can configure the VAT label that is going to be shown on the checkout page, the field placeholder, the description of the field. For example, in this case is European companies with valid EU VAT number will be exempt of VAT. Then we have the option to set VAT as mandatory. If enabled, the VAT field will be required and users will need to complete it. Let's enable this and we'll get this new option, mandatory VAT notice. This is the message that customers will see when the VAT number is not provided. Of course, all these text can be changed. Then we have an option to hide the VAT field if the buy server is down. We can enable this option to make sure the VAT field is hidden at checkout if the server that's used to validate the VAT number is not responding. We're going to disable the option for this video. Then we have an option to prevent orders from customers that are within the European Union. This is useful in case you want to prevent customers there from placing orders in your shop. If you enable the option, you're going to be able to enter a warning message in cart so they know they cannot place the order, and also an error message for the checkout page. Let's disable this. Then we can add custom base locations. So basically you already configured where your store is located in WooCommerce settings. But here you can enter country codes that would replace that location. This is because VAT applies if the user's country is the same as the base location. So this way you can extend this feature to more than one country. Below we have the country confirmation message. This is the message European Union customers will see when their IP address and the billing country they entered do not match. In that case, a checkbox will be added at the bottom of the checkout page so they can confirm their base location. Then we have the option to show the VAT number field to users of the store's registered country. If this is enabled, we'll also be able to disable VAT exemption in the same country, so the VAT exception won't be applied when calculating totals for European customers that are in the same country as our base location. Okay, let's save these options and let's go over to the checkout page to see this mandatory VAT field. So let's scroll down and here we have the VAT field because the country is within the European Union. We have the VAT number label, it's a required field. Here's the placeholder and the description letting us know that European companies with a valid VAT number will be exempt of VAT. We can enter the VAT number here. Here's the Luxembourg VAT applied to the order because I haven't entered a valid VAT number yet. Let's do that. Great. I get this message confirming the VAT number is valid, and we can see here now it says the order is VAT exempted and the amount is crossed out. If I delete it and try to place the order like this, I won't be able to do that. This will turn red and I'll get this message telling me that the VAT number is mandatory because that's what I've configured. And this is of course because there's a European Union member state here. If I change the country to the United Kingdom, I won't see the field because it's not part of the European Union. And same goes, for example, for the United States. I don't have the field and I can just place the order after filling out the usual required fields. Now let's go back to the dashboard and into the tags tab.
Before moving on, let me remind you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell down below so you know every time we publish a new video. Now, let's continue.
Here's where we can manage the taxes for this plugin. A very important thing to keep in mind is that tax calculation should be enabled in the shop in WooCommerce Settings General for this to work. And here's the button that will make adding tax rates so much easier. You can click here to import all the standard and reduced tax rates of the countries in the European Union. Then we just need to click on continue, and that's it. Tax rates imported successfully. Let's close this. So in this table we have the country codes, the state codes, zip codes and city if applicable, the tax rate of each country. As you can see, they're not the same for all the member states of the European Union. Then we have the tax class. These are standard rates and these are reduced rates. Here's the tax name. This is what customers will see at checkout. And here's the VAT exemption enabled. You can disable this for each country here. Let's save this now and let's move on to the modules tab. Here we'll find the one-stop shop and import one-stop shop modules. These are important if you're selling products to European Union countries due to the new tax regulations. With the first one, if your cross-border sales to other European Union member states remain under 10,000 euros in the current and preceding calendar year, you can apply the VAT rules of the country your store is registered in. And if your sales are above this threshold, the VAT rules of the buyer's country will be applied instead to comply with the OSS scheme. Now, the second one is exclusively for stores that are based outside the European Union and are selling their physical goods to customers in it. Those customers who buy from a store that's not in the European Union will be VAT exempted if the order total is above 150 euros. Let's enable these two modules and we'll get two new tabs here. Let's go to the first one, OSS. Here's where we can configure the options for this module. We can force OSS procedure without the need to comply with the 10,000 euros threshold. If this option is enabled, the OSS procedure will be applied to sales to European Union countries and the VAT will be automatically applied based on the customer's country. Then we can enable the option to monitor the threshold of the current and previous year. Here's the current threshold of this store, and we can click on update threshold if we ever want to check this threshold again. And we can select the format of the OSS report that will be generated here in report. We can have each order where the OSS procedure is applied display individually, or we can group them by country. Let's do country first, save, and let's go over to report. So here we have the report with all the business to consumer orders placed in a European Union member state where the local VAT of the buyer was applied. In this case, since they're grouped by country, we have the country code, the number of orders per country, and the total tax amount. We can filter orders by current year, current month, last 3 months, last 6 months, last year, or even enter a custom date range. Then, if we want to filter, we can just click here, and we can also export a CSV file with all this information. Now let's go back to settings, and let's change the format to by order. Let's save, and now let's go see the report again. So this way we can see more details about the orders. We have the country code, the order ID, the order total, the tax rate, and the tax amount. And we have the same options to filter orders in the report and export the information. Now let's go over to IOSS, where we'll find the options to configure this module. As mentioned earlier, this module should only be used if your store is outside the European Union and you're selling your physical goods to customers that are in European Union countries. So, complying with tax regulations, they should be VAT exempted if the order total is above 150 euros. So the IOSS threshold here is set to 150 by default. But keep in mind that if euros is not the default currency in your store, then you should convert 150 euros to your currency and enter that conversion here. Then we can apply the VAT exemption to the shipping cost as well if the order exceeds the threshold. Then we have the message that will be displayed at checkout to customers when their order is VAT exempted due to this threshold. And last, we can select the format of the IOSS report, just like we saw before. Let's choose country first, save, let's go over to report. So the plugin tracks all the orders originated from European Union countries where you're basically exporting your physical products there. In this case, we have the orders grouped by country, so we have country code, number of orders, and total tax amount. We have the same options we saw earlier to filter, and also to export this information. Let's go back one last time and let's change the format to by order. Back to report, and now we have the country code, each order ID, date, items total, tax rate, and tax amount, plus the options to filter and export the information. Then we have the Your Store Tools tab. Here we can find additional tools to improve user experience, increase conversions, and loyalize customers. The best options here are wish lists, so your customers can create lists of products they want and share them with family and friends, and gift cards to sell this in your shop so you can increase your earnings and attract new customers. And last, we have the Help tab, where you can find the link to the documentation so you can learn more about how the plugin works. There's also a link to the frequently asked questions where you can find answers to your doubts, and a link to submit a ticket in case you need help from our developers. And that's it. That's how easy it is to set up this plugin to charge the correct VAT to your customers and comply with the new tax regulations.
Okay, so as you can configure and use the plugin, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up, and we'll meet again for our next video.